Hello, everyone. I hope that you're all taking advantage of the warmer weather that we've been having and getting to go outside for a little bit each day. I know I've been doing that. I have been deliberately going outside and walking around just to feel like I'm a human who can, do things that isn't just sit and stare at a screen all day or ramble at it. I'm going crazy. Let's be honest. We're all going a little crazy, so it helps to go outside. I would say that the cat walking behind me agrees, but she doesn't. Anyway, instead of me wasting your time by reviewing what we were talking about last week, I'm just going to encourage you guys to click on link down here to our YouTube page and review those lessons if you like. If you haven't done so, if you haven't turned in those assignments, I'm going to encourage you to go ahead, watch the videos, do the prompts, answer the questions, get that stuff turned in, so that way we can get your grades up to where they should be. I want to change pace a little bit. And I want to digress from what we had originally planned for this week's lesson to be about and talk about a skill that I think we all need to develop a little better. And this helps us with interacting with people. It helps us when we're, checking something out. It is an essential skill that we don't really talk about, and that's listening. But I want to define what I mean by that, because there's listening and then there's hearing. We hear a lot of different things throughout the day, but I want to be clear with you. Hearing is a passive act. And I'm going to put that on the screen right now for emphasis. Hearing is passive. It doesn't take a lot of energy. It doesn't take a lot of focus. You hear the cars driving by your window, or you hear your neighbors screaming at one another at 2 o'clock in the morning. That happened last night for me. Or you hear your siblings fighting or playing in the other room, or you hear your parents when they're screaming at you for doing something that you think is a stupid thing that they're getting on to you about. It doesn't take energy. So we sit there, you nod your head, and pretend to pay attention. Listening is an active skill. And again, I'm going to reemphasize that. Listening is an active skill. We listen to our music when we have a bad day. We put on our headphones, we tune out everything, and we relax. And we create and we immerse ourselves in this sound world that we've created for ourselves, or someone's created for us to do this with. When we have a problem, we go to someone with that problem and we expect them to listen. We don't expect them to hear us. We want them to listen and pay attention and help. And when we try to listen and when we seek to listen, what we're really trying to do is understand. Alright, before we go through with this lesson, I want you guys just to relax, sit down and just watch this through once. Take notes if you want, to have as a reference point, but I don't want you guys just to sit here and think, all right, I gotta get this done. I have to get this done and just blitz through this, because there's some things in here that doesn't just work for music, but it works for life. It works for how you talk to one another. It works for a lot of different things. And so I don't want you guys to feel pressured to get through this assignment. If it's not possible, don't worry about it. If you gotta watch this and just be done with it, that's fine. But this is gonna be a lot easier with repeat viewings. So let's get started. Step 1. Close your eyes and breathe. Let your body relax from the top of your head. Feel the weight of your skull collapsing down into your forehead, your cheeks, your nose, your mouth, your neck, your shoulders, chest, stomach, waist, legs, and feet. As you do this, focus on your breath and allow your breath to flow into your solar plexus and breathe in and out. Do this for about 30 seconds before moving on to step 2. Step 2. Focus on the obvious sensations. In your mind, list 3 things that you can feel and smell as your body relaxes. Find the most obvious sensations first. For example, let's say you can smell someone making something in your kitchen. That is the most obvious smell that you can smell. The most obvious thing you can feel would be whatever you're sitting on. Just relax and list 3 of each thing. 3 things you can smell, 3 things you can feel. Acknowledge them and let them pass by. Step 3. Open yourself to more subtle sensations. When we say that something is subtle, it means that it's not quite obvious, or that it's more delicate and harder to perceive. If we go back to our example of something being cooked in the kitchen, the most obvious smell is simply that of food. A more subtle sensation would be the individual spices or ingredients that make up the food. So if it's a pasta sauce, you'd smell the tomatoes, or the garlic powder, or even the salt that went into making the sauce what it is. As you go through these kinds of sensations, you can actually list what kind of things you smell. A more subtle sensation that you feel could be the air in the room. Maybe your air conditioner just kicked on, and you can hear it, but you can also feel it against your face as it lightly blows. Step 4. Open your ears. When I say this, I simply mean imagine there's a door that is blocking your ear canal. Let it open ever so slightly. Feel your ears pull back against the side of your head and allow the sound to enter you. Can you hear the various things that are going on around you? Can you hear the things that are happening just beyond your line of sight? Can you hear the things that are happening outside? Listen for them. Take the next several seconds to do so. Before we move on to our final step, I want you to listen for one last thing. That is the sound of silence. It has a very specific pitch and a very specific frequency and a very specific feeling. It sounds like stillness. If you're in an area where there's moving air, you might even feel a light breeze. Acknowledge it when you find it, and just feel your body relax and enjoy the stillness that comes with this sensation. And finally, step 5. Let the sounds enter your body. This is a strange statement, I know, but it's also a very true one. If you've ever gone to a concert or driven a car with incredibly loud music, you've been in the situation where you can feel the bass of a song hitting you in your chest. Sound, after all, is vibration. Vibrations cause sensations. Your body is always responding to these sounds, even if you aren't paying attention to them. When I'm trying to listen to something, I always feel as if those sounds are entering into my heart. And as cheesy as that sounds, I'm imagining the sound entering from my ears and going down until they fill my entire body from there. When I've hit that point, I know that I'm truly listening to something. Take the next few moments to do so yourself. Before I go on about the assignment, this is Merlin. He is one of the two cats that you've seen in the background a lot. He doesn't like being held though, so I'm going to let him go. Unless he decides to sniff my eyeball. Alright. Yes, I kiss my cats. Get over it. Alright, your assignment for next week is to pick a couple of different times of the day, a couple of different places, and I want you to list the things that you hear. And ideally, you're going to do this over a couple of days. So you're going to pick, let's say, your bedroom, your living room, and the street just outside your house. And what I want you to do is I want you to pick 3 different times for you to list the things you hear, and you're going to describe the ways they sound to you and if they've changed at all. Because, for example, your house has a different sound and a different feel to it if you're up at, let's say, 5 in the morning versus what it does at 12 in the afternoon versus what it does at 5 in the evening and midnight. What I want you to do is describe how those sounds change. If you choose a public place like a park, please be safe. If you choose somewhere in your house, try to make it as quiet as you can so you can try to catch the different feels and the different expressions of the room. But overall, just hang in there, guys. We're almost through. This listening assignment is going to be particularly important when it comes to dealing with our final that we are still required to do. And I'll give you guys more information on that as the week goes on. Until then, have a good week, and I hope you guys stay all right.